Good day, everyone. So I made this video because I will not be able to attend our class today. So that is why I have prepared this in advance. So we are done with our lesson two. That was about the atomic number and how the elements are arranged in the periodic table with the contribution of different scientists. Specifically, first, we have the Jan Newlands. Also, we have Johann W. Rayner and the father of the modern periodic table, Dmitry Mendeleev. And the last one who really made the great contribution in the arrangement of the elements according to atomic number was Henry Moseley. So that is why we have those elements that are arranged periodically from number 1 to 118 elements. All right, so this time we will have also the continuation of our lesson, and it is something still related to like chemistry, but then to continue giving you the recap of our lesson last time, we also discussed there the elements or the elements that were produced synthetically, and the first ever element that was produced synthetically, as what we discussed, was the technetium, and how they were produced using uh, tools or apparatus like the cyclotron and also the particle accelerator. And that's how we completed the elements, which are not naturally existing in nature, but they are actually just synthetically made in, of course, man-made or synthetically produced elements. All right, so this time we will proceed to our next lesson. This is now lesson number 3, and I will be sharing my screen to you. All right, so for let me have this. All right, so this is the title of our lesson. Let me just adjust this one. All right, that's it. So we have the polarity of molecules. So we are now at lesson number 3, and let's, yeah, okay. We don't need to discuss or we don't need to do the activity because this is a recorded video. So as what you can see here, so I have just I just included this picture here on because I want to give you just the idea about something. So as what you can see in this picture is like a movie in the past, and there's another the remake of the movie or like drama. And the title of this drama is Langis at Tubig. So if you are familiar with this drama, so this is like I didn't also watch this, but it was one of the popular one maybe in the past. But I really didn't watch the drama. I just get this for the sake of this title, which is having the title of the Tubig at Langis. And as we knew, in the idiomatic expression used by the people, especially in the past, that whenever there is like a love story between two people, it's always an issue between them. If someone is rich and if someone is poor, so therefore it's like there is a connotation or like a mindset in the people that those kind of people cannot be together, having a different world. So the other one is rich and the other one is poor. So that's why they are using the term to figuratively uh, show or describe the difference between the two worlds. No, it's like tubigat lang eh. So it's like whatever they do, they cannot mingle, they cannot be together. It's difficult for them to be together. And so, if we're going to apply that in chemistry in our subject, of course, that is really based also on the concept of the molecules that are really not in good terms. No, it's like they cannot really combine with one another. And I know you are familiar with that already, that the oil and the water cannot be combined. There is really that a point or a certain thing that will make them to really separate. Like you cannot evenly mix them together, as what you can see here in our video. Okay. And you might be thinking why or what is the reason behind, even though we know already that they cannot be combined together. So, of course, their molecular structure, their properties, chemically or physically, might be the reasons behind this phenomena that they cannot really combine with one another. So that the reason for that is about the topic, which is about the polarity of the molecules. So when we say molecule, that is actually a combination already of atom. So atom is the individual unit of matter, so the smallest unit of matter. So for example, our hydrogen, that is the atom of hydrogen, right? So that is a single atom. But when you combine hydrogen to another element, for example, is oxygen, that's no longer an atom. That's no longer a single element, but they are considered already as compound, or they form already as molecule. So because they are together. Now, water is a kind of molecule because that's the combination of hydrogen and oxygen, and water is considered a polar molecule. Well, the oil is a nonpolar one. So later on, we will know and we will understand why water is considered polar and why oil is considered a nonpolar. So it has something to do with the number of protons that are available in them. So I hope you understood how I discuss the distribution of the protons inside the atom and also the electrons. If you can still recall, the protons are found inside the atom, inside the nucleus, while the electrons are outside and they are surrounding the nucleus, or they are surrounding the protons and the neutrons that are inside the nucleus. And they have something to do with this. And so if you're going to look at this illustration, we have here the charges. So these charges are the illustration of the proton and the electron. As you know, the proton are the positive charge particle of the atom, and the red one that you can see in there, this one, is the negatively charged particle of the atom. So there is a mystery molecule number one, and there is a mystery molecule number two. So if we are in our discussion in the classroom, I'll be asking you, what have you noticed in the illustration? So you will notice that here, the positive or the positively charged particle, which are the proton, and the negatively charged particle, which are the electrons, having the color red, and the other one is the color blue. And if you're going to notice them, they are somewhat mixed together, right? So, while the other picture here at the other side, the positive and the negative are like arranged properly, like all the positive charge were on the other side, while the negative charge are at the other side of the circle. So that's the difference between the two. So why did we consider them as neutral if we're going to count the positively charged here? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there are 6 protons here. How many are electrically, or I'm sorry, the negatively charged particle here, which is the electron, the red one? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So both are 6. So that's why they are neutral. They have the same number of protons and same number of electrons. Same thing with the other one. 2, 4, 6. And the red one, the negatively charged particle, 2, 4, 6. Even this one is not arranged. Even this one is properly arranged and the other one is not properly arranged. Both of them are having the same number of protons and electrons, and therefore they are considered neutral. Okay, now, so even though they are neutral, as what I have said a while ago, because of their arrangement, that the other one is not properly arranged and the other one is properly arranged like this, well distributed like this, then in this case, the first one is considered a nonpolar molecule and the other one is a polar molecule. Okay, let's go back to the example that I have given you. This is the it's a molecular structure of water. And again, water is the combination of the 2 atoms of hydrogen and the 1 atom of oxygen. Meaning to say, there are 2 hydrogen present in water and 1 atom of oxygen. So when we combine them, then that's the water. And if we are going to combine the two, as if you can recall, I show you how we can illustrate the atomic model of elements, right? That this is the nucleus from which you will find the protons and the neutrons, and are outside in the orbits, there you will find the electrons, right? So the oxygen has how many electrons? A total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there are 8 electrons in the oxygen. In the first orbital, there are 2 because that's the only maximum number of electrons that can be found in the first orbital. It cannot exceed to 2, only up to 2. That's the maximum in the first orbital. You cannot put 3 electrons on the first orbital. Now on the second orbital, we have 2, 4, 6. So that's a total of 6. And in the second orbital, we can place up to 8 electrons. But to complete the total number of electrons for the oxygen, it only has 6 because the total number of electrons in the oxygen is 8. So therefore, we already have 2 in the first orbital, and then the rest, to complete the 8, are at the second orbital. Since we are not yet completing the electrons in the last orbital, then we just distributed it this way, because mostly in every orbital, like in the second orbital, we can place the electrons at 4 sides. So every pair will be at each side. So we have 2 here, 2 at the other side, and then the other one here, 1, and this one is the other electron. So that's to complete the 4 corner. No, there's no corner in the circle, but in the 4 points, no, in the circle. Now, here, this one is a single atom. Same thing with this one. So they are considered the lone electrons. Lone, malungkot, walang kapartner, nag-iisa, naghahanap ng makakasama. And this hydrogen, there are 2 atoms, right? Because we need 2 atoms of hydrogen to combine with the oxygen to form the water. So, as you know, hydrogen is the number 1 electron. The number 1 element. So therefore, it only has 1 proton and 1 electron, because electron number is equivalent to a proton number, and a proton number is equivalent to its atomic number. So hydrogen is the number 1 element, therefore it has only 1 proton, 1 electron. And here is the 1 electron. So we have 2 hydrogen. This is the first hydrogen with 1 electron, and the second hydrogen with another 1 electron. And since this is 1 only, so it is also lonely, and this one is also lonely, and therefore we call them as lone electrons. Mag-isa, malungkot, walang kapartner. Hindi kagaya nitong dalawang to, may kapartner, ito may kapartner. So kahit mga elements man, naghahanap din ng kapartner. So that is why we need to combine them together to form the molecules of water, or molecule of water. So that's how you combine them to form the water. And the elements that we are combining, they are all reacting with one another, right? So as we combine these two, then they will be reacting with one another. So the hydrogen and the oxygen will combine. All right? Yung dalawa na yon is parang mapupunta doon, magiging kapartner nitong nag-iisa na to, at magiging kapartner nitong nag-iisa na to. And mapapansin nyo, class, kompleto na to. Saan galing to? Here in the 1 hydrogen. Saan galing to? Here from the 1 hydrogen. And so if you're going to notice this last orbital, they have completed the total of 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Yan kasi ang goal ng bawat elements. Okay? Ang maging stable sila. And para maging stable sila, they are following the octet rule from the word oct. That means 8. So dapat makompleto yung 8 na yan at the last orbital for an element to be stable. So yun ang lagi nilang ginugol. Bakit sila nagko-combine lagi sa isa't isa? Ba't nila hinahanap yung pwedeng makapartner nila para makabuo sila ng isang molecule that is to be stable, no? Gusto na rin nila ng stability. Okay, now, dahil nakumpleto na yan, complete na yon yung nasa last orbital. That's what we call the octet. At sinong kumumpleto sa oxygen na yan? Si hydrogen. Ano ang nabuo? Tubig, the universal solvent. Isa sa pinaka-importanteng substance dito sa mundo because even in our whole world, we have 70% water. And same thing with our body, that's all also contains 70% water. Okay, so that's it. That's the octet. And now, kapag nag-combine na sila, ayan na. So, hindi na malungkot yung isa, hindi na rin malungkot yung isa, may kapartner na. Same thing with this one. Hindi na rin siya malungkot, may kapartner na. So, lahat na sila ay may kapartner. Masaya na sila. Okay? At ang itsura nitong molecule ng water, para siyang si Mickey Mouse. Alright? That's it. That's the combination. Alright? Bakit in-attract ni oxygen why did oxygen attract the electron of the hydrogen para mabuo yung molecule ng water? That is because si oxygen, as what I have told you dun sa buong periodic table nyo, yung mga nandun sa left side, sila yung mga powerful electrons or yung tinatawag natin na merong stronger electronegativity. So, they have strong electronegativity. That is why the tendency is for them to attract the electrons of the elements which are on the other side or on the left side. And therefore, since oxygen is stronger than hydrogen, therefore it's oxygen that attracts the electron of hydrogen. Okay? Siya yung kumuha. Ang tawag doon, gain. Siya yung nag-gain. The oxygen gained the electron of the hydrogen, and the hydrogen loses the electron or its electron. But basically, nag-combine silang ganyan. Okay? So, pero napunta nga, nalipat kay oxygen. Okay? Oh, what's that? Macho, no? Siyempre, sa mga chicks, ano yan? Ibig sabihin, malakas ang attraction ng mga ganyan. No? Sa mga chika babes naman, yung mga may dimples, di ba? Parang attraction, nagiging parang charm nila yan. Nagiging parang malakas ang attraction sa mga ganun din, no? Na-attract yung mga tao kapag may mga dimples. Okay? May dimples ba ako? Meron din. And, ayan, ako hindi, medyo luma na kasi yung example ko dito. Sana pala pinalitan ko na lang ng mga Beanie at saka, sino ba? Ng mga Blackpink, no? Kasi this one is medyo, medyo luma na tong PowerPoint ko na to. So, hindi ko na siya na-edit. That's why this was before, nung talaga namang medyo, ang pinakapantasya ng mga maraming mga lalaki ay si Liza Soberano. So, ngayon siguro dapat, next time, papalitan ko to ng Blackpink at saka ng Beanie. Okay, let's go. So, ayan ang inyong periodic table. And, okay, as what you can see here. So, as what I have told you a while ago, these elements that are here at this side, they are having stronger electronegativity. Alright? And yung mga nandito sa kabilang side, of course, they are somewhat having a weaker electronegativity. That is why, when they combine, alright, if the elements here at this right side were combined in the elements here at the left side, then the tendency is for these elements to attract the electrons of these elements which are at the left side mostly, itong mga lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, calcium, magnesium, and so on. Alright? And here at the other side, sila yung mas powerful. Ang tendency nila ma-attract yun. Tawag sa bonding na yun ay ionic bonding. Okay? Marami tayong pag-uusapan tungkol dyan. So, iisa-isahin natin para hindi kayo malito at hindi kayo mahirapan. Okay. So, if you're going to check, may nakalagay na dyan yung kanilang mga electronegativity values, alright? So, si hydrogen is 2.1, yung example natin kanina. Excuse me. And si oxygen is 3.5, okay? Which is higher. Oxygen is 3.5 and hydrogen is 2.1. Of course, it's oxygen that is higher when it comes to electronegativity compared to the hydrogen. So that's why in the bonding a while ago of water, and that's between oxygen and hydrogen, it's the oxygen that gains the electron of the hydrogen. Okay, that is because of its electronegativity that's higher than the hydrogen. See, because as what I have told you, as you going to the right from the left, the electronegativity of elements are increasing. Okay, papataas. And as you go down, okay, from the top going to the bottom, that's also the same. That is also like decreasing kasi yung papataas, yung papalaki. So pag binaligtad natin ang arrow, that's increasing pataas and that's decreasing pababa. And that's it. Yan yung nangyari kanina sa kwento natin between the oxygen and the hydrogen to form the molecule of water. Okay? So, mapapansin nyo dito, meron tayong positive and negative sign. Yung ating red one, that's the oxygen. Itong dalawa na to na parang yung ulo ni Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, or kung sino man sa kanila. Here, all right, that's positive. This one is also positive, and this is negative. Because class, in the concept of electricity, it's the electron, which is the negatively charged particle, or negatively charged ion, is the one that always attracts. And yung direction, okay, ng motion of the electricity is always going out from the positive charge. So that's the tendency is for the negatively charged to attract the one which is in the positively charged. So this symbol class is sigma. Okay? So partial negative charge, partial positive charge, and that's it. So let's go. Okay? Lipat ko lang muna to. I hope you can follow at naiintindihan natin kasi there will be an activity related to this when I return to our normal class discussion. So how can we determine if a molecule is a polar or non-polar? So we are going to determine the electronegativity of the atoms in the molecule. So madali lang to class, hindi naman siya nakakalito. Okay? So we are going to determine the electronegativity at nandun yan lahat sa periodic table nyo. Hindi kayo mahihirapan kasi as what I have told you, you are very lucky because the periodic table that you are using nowadays, they have all details, no? The complete details, mostly the important complete details for every element. So it's just there. And here, you are also going to determine the shape or the geometry of the molecule. Okay, let's go. En or electronegativity. So if we are going to define that, it is defined rather as measures the relative tendency of an atom to attract electrons to itself when chemically combined with other atoms. So, sino ba yung mas malakas? Basta't nag-combine yung dalawang atom, sino ba yung mas malakas? When it comes to their electronegativity, kung sino yung mas mataas, siya yung laging mag-a-attract. Okay, remember that. So, ayan. Let's go. As what I have told you a while ago about this, ayan na siya. In the periodic table, papapunta doon sa right, papataas, pababa, pababa din. Okay, let's go. Example, electronegativity difference. So, kapag, what is that symbol, no? As what you can see, this one, all right? Pag ganun siya. It means greater than, right? 1.8. If it is greater than 1.8, electronegativity difference, ibig sabihin yung difference ng dalawang elements, kapag minus mo yung electronegativity nila, if that is higher than 1.8, then the bonding is ionic bond. So, meron na example dito, asin. That's asin, no? Salt. So the chemical formula for the salt is sodium chloride because that's the combination of sodium. This is the symbol for sodium, the Na, and the Cl. That's chlorine. But when you combine them, it's no longer chlorine. It will become chloride. I'll be teaching you that when I come back. I'll be teaching you again if you didn't experience to combine elements and writing their chemical formula, then I'll be discussing that when I come back. But for the meantime, let us focus on our lesson today. So it means it's ionic bond. What do you mean by ionic bond? Actually, class, if we talk about ionic bond, that's basically the combination between the metals that's on the left side of the elements in the periodic table and the nonmetals. All the elements that are at the right side mostly are nonmetals and meron dong boundary tinatawag na metalloids. So I'll be discussing that again. So for the meantime, let us continue with this one. Okay, so yung sodium natin, sodium is the one requires to make the molecule of a salt or sodium chloride. That's rock salt. And sodium is 0.9 when it comes to its electronegativity. Then let's find out the chlorine. The chlorine is 3.0. Now, if you're going to subtract them, okay, let me transfer this part again. All right, so as what you can see, this is 3.0 minus 0.9, then the answer is 2.1. And since that is 2.1, okay, so that's the combination of the two. Of course, the tendency is the chlorine will attract the lone. This is the lone electron of sodium. Yan yung nag-iisa niya na nasa pinakalabas niyang orbital. Ang tawag dito sa orbital na to dahil pinakalabas siya. Siya yung pinaka nasa labas. We call it as outermost orbital. At syempre, yung electron na matatagpuan doon sa pinaka-outermost orbital, that is the outermost electron. Syempre. Okay, so nag-iisa lang yung kay sodium dyan. Now, let's have chlorine. Ilan ang meron kay chlorine? So, we have 2, 4, 6, 7. So, ito yung walang kapartner, basically, no? So, therefore, the tendency is maa-attract ito papunta doon kay chlorine. Dahil mas malakas nga si chlorine kaysa kay sodium. At nung sinubtract natin yon, ang difference ay 2.1. Ayun. Okay, transfer siya dyan, papunta doon. And, ayan, dahil dyan, siya yung nagbigay ng isa. So, the formal charge is positive 1. Nag-gain ito nung kabila ng isa. So, the formal charge is negative 1. And that's it. Nag-combine na sila, nabuo na si asin. Okay? So, that is an ionic bonding. As what I have said, that's the difference is 2.1. That's higher than 1.8. Therefore, ionic bond ang naganap. Let's have this example. This is now the combination between hydrogen, okay, and chlorine. Okay, so as what you can see, this is an acid. HCl is hydrochloric acid. The common name, muriatic acid. Yung ginagamit ng mga nanay sa paglilinis ng banyo or mga stains na matitigas sa kusina. Muriatic acid. Medyo delikado kasi that's very acidic. It can even burn. Okay, your face. Pag na-burn na yung part ng skin natin, hindi na ma-restore, mahirap na. Okay, going back. So, kung nakikita yan, okay, so yung electronegativity ulit ni hydrogen is 2.1 at si chlorine again ay 3.0. Okay, and pag sinubtract natin yan, the answer is 0.9. Therefore, hindi sila, hindi sila higher than 1.8. Therefore, hindi yan hindi yan magta-transfer ng electron. But instead, mag-share yan. Okay? At yun yung tinatawag natin na covalent bonding. Ay, dito mawala. Pintutin ko lang. Okay, ayan. That's it. So, 1.7, that's less than 1.7. Okay. So, in this case, hindi sila nag-transfer. Kasi they are almost like almost same, no? So, hindi ganun kalayo yung difference. So, therefore, ang nangyari dito is hindi siya transfer of electron but a sharing of electron. And we call that covalent bond. Okay? So, in the range, later, ipoprovide ko sa inyo yung table, okay, na nagpapakita kung paano nyo i-base yung inyong computation sa mga makukuha nyong difference. So, makikita nyo doon from ranging, for example, this one, ranging from 0.9 to 1.69. So, that's considered a very polar covalent. A very polar covalent. Okay? Sharing ang nangyayari sa kanila pero very polar sila. Alright? So, that's it. So, ito na yung sinasabi ko. No? The chart, which we call the bond type chart. So, how you will determine the bonding between the elements. Okay? Kung yung mga elements nga nagbabonding, di ba? Okay. So, from the range, okay, that's the difference in the electronegativity range. Again, pag sinubtract mo yung electronegativity nila, dito ka titingin after nyong isubtract. Okay? Kung ano yung elements na involved in the bonding. So, if it is 0.0 hanggang 0.39 yung sagot sa sinubtract nyo, then that's nonpolar covalent. If it is naman 0.4 hanggang 0.89, that's moderately polar covalent. And the third one, 0.9 hanggang 1.69, that's very polar covalent. At pag sobrang taas na ang naging sagot sa difference ng dalawang element in their electronegativity, then that's 1.7 or greater, then that's ionic bonding. Again, pag sinabi nating ionic bonding, ang nagsasanib dyan ay ang metal at saka non-metals or yung nandun sa kabilang side at saka yung nandun sa kabilang side ng element. So, powerful yung nasa kabila, therefore, transfer ng electron ang nangyari. Kung sino yung malakas, sa kanya matatransfer. That's ionic. Pero pag almost same sila, no, na hindi masyado nagkakalayo, then ang nangyayari ay sharing and that's covalent bonding. Okay? So, ayan, example natin. Chlorine gas, kasi may 2, no? That's Cl, chlorine. Meron tayong 2 dito. So, that means the element, the molecule is diatomic, no? From the word di means 2. So, usually, pag nakakita kayo ng ganyan na may 2 na subscript at isang element lang, diatomic yon, mostly gases yon. So, we call it or we read it as chlorine gas. Okay? So that's 2 chlorine. Dalawang chlorine pareho. So kapag minus mo yan, pareho lang kasi sila. So 3.0 minus 3.0, that's 0. And pag tinignan mo ulit sa chart natin, yung pinakita ko kanina, ayan, sa 0 lumabas. So that's nonpolar covalent. So the answer here is nonpolar covalent. So ganyan ang gagawin nyo, class. Pag nagpa-quiz ako, okay? So, the nonpolar covalent bond, the bonding electrons shared equally between 2 atoms, no charges on atoms. Pantay na pantay, share na share, para lang silang ganun. Ayun, kapit kamay na ganun, no? Walang nag-gain, walang naglo-lose, sharing lang sila kasi pareho naman sila ng lakas. Pareho sila ng electronegativity. Okay? Okay, polar bond is not the same as polar molecule. Okay, we are talking about bonding and we are also talking about molecule. So the bond it is the one that holds the atom together to form the molecule. And that is not the same with what we call the polar molecule. Okay, itself. So iba yon. So, sabi dito, i-memorize to ha. Memorize niyan, tatanungin ko kayo pagbalik ko. So, isulat sa notebook yung mga nandito, yung mga didi-discuss ko habang nanonood or nakikinig. Pwede nyo ring i-pause habang pinapakinggan. Okay, so number 1, if bond is polar, then the molecule can either be polar or non-polar. Okay? So, pwede pa rin siya maging polar and non-polar kahit na bond. Bond kasi ang pinag-uusapan, hindi naman yung molecule. So, kung ang bond na nag-uugnay sa mga elements na nasa molecule na yon ay polar, pwede pa ring ang molecule ay mag-consider na either polar or non-polar. And the second one, if bond is non-polar, then the molecule is automatically non-polar. Non-polar na siya kaagad, no? Hindi na siya pwedeng maging polar. Kasi kung non-polar siya, non-polar din ang bond niya. Pero kung polar ang bond niya, then ang molecule ay pwede pa ring maging non-polar at pwedeng polar. Okay? Hanggang dito na lang muna. Gusto kong aralin nyo itong mabuti after nyo siyang mapanood at isulat sa notes yung mga importanteng bagay kasi when we meet, I will be giving you quiz, especially doon sa electronegativity difference or how you're going to identify the molecule bond. All right, so that would be all for this video. See you next meeting. Goodbye and God bless.